Welcome to our analysis of one of history's absolute most fascinating legends. Today, we're exploring the miraculous origins of the Hanuman Chalisa. Now, millions of people recite this text literally every single day, right? But the story of how it actually came to be? Well, that's a tale completely shrouded in mystery, defiance, and some incredible historical intrigue. Let's dive right into it.
So I want you to picture this scene. We're plunging right into a pitch-black, ironclad dungeon in the heart of Fatehpur Sikri, right during the height of the Mughal era. It's cold, it's completely silent, well, except for the heavy rattling of iron chains. And sitting right there in that absolute darkness is a man composing what's going to become a truly revolutionary text.
You really have to ask yourself, how exactly did a legendary prayer originate in a prison? How did the Hanuman Chalisa, which is a beacon of light and hope for so many today, how did it get born in the darkest of places? And honestly, even more incredibly, according to the source texts, how did the creation of this very prayer bring one of the most powerful emperors in human history straight to his knees? To understand all of this, we've got to go back to where the legend really begins.
Section 1. The First Miracle, a blessing that defied death. According to the historical legend, this whole thing started with a grieving widow. Her husband had just passed away, and she was mourning, getting ready for his last rites. It was just a moment of absolute despair. People actually thought a terrible mistake had been made when she crossed paths with the poet Saint Tulsidas. But Tulsidas, remaining completely calm in the face of all this chaotic tragedy, he simply offered a blessing. He quietly chanted the name Sri Ram, and the legend states that in the very next moment, the dead Brahmin man was revived. He literally came back to life. Now, whether you view this literally or maybe as a powerful metaphor for spiritual awakening, the cultural impact of this event was just undeniable.
Section 2. Confrontation with Akbar, the Emperor and the Saint.
As you can probably guess, an event of that magnitude does not stay quiet for long. News of this alleged resurrection spread absolutely like wildfire across the region, and inevitably, whispers of this extraordinary event made their way straight to the imperial court of Emperor Akbar. Now, Akbar was a man of absolute authority, so what does he do? He immediately summons Tulsidas to his court. The stakes here are incredibly high. The emperor, surrounded by his entire royal court, challenges Tulsidas, essentially demanding that he perform a miracle on command. He basically wanted a display of magic for his own entertainment and validation.
And this interaction brilliantly illustrates the core character of Tulsidas. Facing the absolute ruler of the empire, he doesn't cower. He doesn't try to show off. Instead, he delivers this fearless, incredibly humble response. I am no magician, I am merely a servant of Lord Rama. He completely rejects the emperor's premise. He strips away all the spectacle and grounds his actions purely in his unwavering faith. It is a really profound moment of speaking truth to absolute power.
This encounter perfectly captures the central conflict of our story. On one side, you have Emperor Akbar, representing immense imperial might, furious anger at being denied, and this deep desire to control the uncontrollable by demanding magic. On the flip side, you have Tulsidas, armed with absolutely nothing but unwavering devotion, deep humility, and his pure identity as a servant of his faith. This clash wasn't just about some magic trick, right? It was a fundamental collision of massive political power versus quiet spiritual conviction.
Section 3. Birth of the Chalisa. Darkness, silence, and penance.
Well, Akbar did not take this rejection well at all. He immediately ordered Tulsidas to be thrown into that very dungeon in Fatehpur Sikri that we talked about at the beginning. No light, no comfort, just iron chains. But instead of despairing, Tulsidas turned inward. He began a rigorous penance, and in that pitch-black cell, he started composing a Chalisa. Now, a Chalisa is a specific type of spiritual composition that consists of exactly 40 verses. He was channeling all his devotion into poetry, basically transforming his captivity into a crucible of creation.
The absolute crucial point of this entire legend is the number 40. For exactly 40 days, Tulsidas sat in the darkness, engaging in intense penance. And during those 40 days, he composed the 40 verses of the prayer we now know as the Hanuman Chalisa. Think about that for a second. He was literally writing a beacon of light into existence while entirely surrounded by the darkest of environments.
Section 4. The Monkey Invasion, the 40th Day.
Okay, this is where the story shifts abruptly from quiet internal resistance to massive external chaos.
On that exact 40th day, just as Tulsidas completed his composition, the source text describes something entirely unprecedented. Thousands upon thousands of monkeys suddenly descended upon the Mughal capital of Fatehpur Sikri. It was this massive, sudden, and terrifying invasion that came absolutely out of nowhere.
The sheer number and ferocity of the monkeys were so intense that the entire imperial palace literally shook to its foundations. We're talking about highly trained soldiers, men who had literally conquered entire armies, fleeing in absolute panic. People were screaming, utter chaos reigned in the streets, and nobody could figure out what was happening or how to stop it. The destruction was just so relentless that finally, Emperor Akbar had no choice. The most powerful man in the entire empire was forced to surrender to this inexplicable, overwhelming force.
The sheer terror of that day brought about a profound realization. Akbar realized the massive mistake he had made in imprisoning Tulsidas. According to the legend, the emperor himself went down to the dungeon, bowed before the saint, offered his deepest apologies, and immediately released him with full honor and respect. The physical chains were quite literally broken by the sheer power of what had been created inside that cell.
So what does this all actually mean? This brings us to the core takeaway of this historical legend. The Hanuman Chalisa isn't just a beautifully written prayer. It stands as a universal symbol of incredible resilience. It serves as this powerful reminder that quiet, unwavering faith can withstand and even completely overcome the most iron-fisted authority imaginable.
Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up our analysis today. Did imperial anger accidentally gift the world its greatest prayer? If Akbar hadn't let his fury take control, right? If he hadn't locked Tulsidas in that dark dungeon, would the Hanuman Chalisa have ever been written at all? It's a fascinating paradox to think about, that an act of sheer wrath and oppression inadvertently created a timeless, miraculous symbol of faith that has endured for centuries. Thank you so much for joining me as we unpack these historical sources. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.